Today was a really interesting day. I was at the Barber Surgeons Hall, and I'll tell you a bit more about that in a moment. Being being made or declaring my allegiance to the worshipful company of wheelwrights, one of the oldest English livery companies since the time of Charles II. I'm going to show you some arrivals, and but I also want to just tell you something interesting about today, because the Barber Surgeons Hall is right by the old Roman wall of London Wall in the city of London. Had a very lovely lunch there with the guild, or the company of wheelwrights. But one of the interesting things was that the barbers and the surgeons used to be one guild, one profession. So imagine that, somebody cutting bits out of you and somebody cutting your hair were actually one unified profession. And then at some stage, the surgeons decided to go their own way, and they parted company with the barbers. And the barbers at that time were still physicians. So the barbers cut your hair and made you better, but all the surgeons disappeared and formed their own Royal College of Surgeons. So a really interesting place, lots of interesting things around the room. The picture you saw there of Henry VIII is a painting by Holbein, and just an altogether really interesting thing to do. In case you're wondering what these guilds get up to now in the modern times, they don't necessarily go about making wheels or anything, but they're a charitable organisation that support applications for grants from para-athletes who compete at the highest level. So it's a very different kind of organisation to how it may have been when it was a trade guild first and foremost many years ago. There's some more interesting things to tell you about that, and I will maybe do that as a preface to one of the other videos. But what you're looking at here, and thank you very much to the person who sent this over, is a Morgan dollar, and this was a little present for me, which is always very nice when somebody sends over a little bit extra. People don't have to do that, but it's nice when you get something. Bar of chocolate, Morgan dollar, you've seen the kind of things in some of my videos that people have sent over. The coin that was actually sent in for grading is not, of course, this Morgan dollar. As nice as it is, the coin that was sent in for grading is this 1747 Mexican coin, and it's really unusual and really distinctive because it has a counter stamp right bang in the center of it, a very beautiful counter stamp, which is from Portugal counter stamp on a Mexico coin. You can see there where it's a bit flat on one side. That's because that was underneath the bit that was stamped, and it was stamped so hard and so well that it flattened the bit of the coin underneath. Let's give you a bit of a close-up here on the crest. There's actually good records for these. You can look up in a lot of the coin books all these different counter stamps, where they come from, what country, what type of counter stamp, and NGC will have, I think, hopefully a good time grading this particular coin. Hope you could hear me clearly just there. There was a helicopter going out of overhead out of my window. If you're thinking about buying the kind of coins you'd normally buy at the Royal Mint, there is an alternative. Why not try Coin Connection, the company that wraps your gold in beautiful pink tissue paper? 2% off during July with checkout code Keith. That's checkout code Keith. Welcome back from the little interlude there with the Coin Connection, code Keith, if you've forgotten already. I've been able to grade paper money or submit paper money to PMG, the paper money group, for a while, but no one's really sent me any. So it's been nice that over the last couple of weeks, people have sent me, well, in fact, one person in particular who's been collecting paper money and buying it to be sent to me directly. So this isn't a bribe. This is actually a collector's paper money. If you're from England or from Great Britain, you'll recognise these as old £20 notes. And you can see here that this particular guy bought a wad of these £20 notes and asked me to pick the most, I suppose the ones that are in the best condition to send off for grading at PMG. There is quite a big market for old British paper money. There's a lot of people who collect it. I know that these particular notes aren't really that old, or maybe even that collectible, but there's ones that were made before this with Faraday on the back that are pretty collectible. And my favourites are the 1960s British notes with from the chief cashiers of Holland and Ford and O'Brien and all of these people. And it's maybe worth watching out for some of this kind of paper money. It makes an interesting adjunct to collecting coins. I know there's no precious metal in notes, but there is quite a lot of interest. Not just in British notes, but American notes and worldwide notes, and particularly some of the ones from France I think are really, really attractive, or French Polynesia, French colonies, those kind of places. And they can make really, really nice kind of pretty collections just as a little supplement to collecting the kind of things you guys have been collecting anyway with stacking gold and silver. But let's go back to the kind of thing you've been coming to this channel for anyway. That is beautiful collector's coins. So this particular person who sent me this package is a member of the Silver Forum and somebody who's sent me quite a few interesting coins before. So let's have a look at what we find here in this package. This particular person has got a fondness for Kiwis from New Zealand and also for First World War coins. So the ones that are sitting in here are maybe not quite the kind of things that I would normally associate with this particular collector. So something a little bit different and absolutely wonderful. They're Britannias, but they seem to have kind of been elevated to right at the very, very top of the Britannia collectors list. So you've got the 2014 Britannia design, widely acknowledged to be the best design probably of the whole series of Britannias, and very, very low mintages. There's 1/4 ounce, 1/10 of an ounce, and a 1/20th of an ounce. And the 1/10 of an ounce interests me in particular because I don't have a 1/10 of an ounce 2014 Britannia in my own collection on NGC's registry set yet. So it may be that in this little set over there's a deal to be done, and maybe one of those will end up in my collection depending on grade and stuff like that. This other one I think is equally as beautiful, from Mexico. Had a couple of those in for grading and submission to NGC. It's a 1/2 ounce reverse proof 2018 Libertad. Absolutely gorgeous design, really nice take, and very different look from the regular proof, which is in itself incredibly wonderful. These coins, I think there was a mintage of about 1,000 of each coin in the 1/2 ounce and the 1 ounce denomination. Then we've got a slightly older coin, Republic of France. I did say this guy liked coins of this particular kind of era, so it doesn't surprise me seeing this one. This is slightly older than the norm, 1888, minted in Paris. Whenever you see an A as a mint mark on a French coin, that means the Paris Mint made that coin. So altogether, very, very nice. Very, very nice, rare 2014 Britannia set, and a really, really nice reverse proof Libertad and 20 franc coin from France. So that little arrival brings us nice and neatly to the end of this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know what you think. Please like, subscribe. Quite a lot of the people who view these videos are subscribers, so thank you very much for that, and please let me have your comments.